Hey guys, this is Carrie from Tone Wars. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We're really excited to hang out with you and to have you be part of our community. If you like what you see here, here's a couple ways you can support the channel. We always appreciate super chats very much, but here's a couple other ways you can support the channel and get something in return other than just content. If the super chat feature doesn't work for you, or if you're watching after the live stream, Jarrod's PayPal account link is listed below. Any donation of any amount is greatly appreciated. Since the show is sponsored in part by Motor City Guitar, we've included an affiliate link below. By clicking the link below, everybody wins. You're getting a great deal on some awesome equipment, you're supporting a store that has tons of inventory and great customer service, and you're supporting Tone Wars. And on top of all of that, if you live outside of the state of Michigan, whenever you buy anything from Motor City Guitar, you don't pay any sales tax. And last but certainly not least, you can visit our website at tonewars.com. The link is below. There you will find some awesome KEMPER profile packs with the tone and feel guitar players love. You will also find presets for the very popular HELIX, HX Effects, HX Stomp, and Pod Go. Alright, the show's about to begin. We look forward to hanging out with you, so grab your favorite drink and join us in the live chat.
Welcome to Tone Wars. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks so much for joining me tonight. Obviously, Carrie's not here. She went out of town this weekend and got back kind of late. So she'll be here next week with me. So hello, Carrie, if you're watching. But yeah, she'll be back next week and all that happy stuff. So yeah. So anyways, yeah, it's her birthday today. So yeah. So was it today or yesterday? Man, I got my days all mixed up. Yesterday was her birthday. Yeah. So anyways, just want to say hello to everybody, and we're gonna get started in just a second. A couple of things I want to cover. You're probably seeing them pop up on the channel called TW Riffs, which is my kind of nickname for short versions of the show. So when I do live streams now, I'm going to take highlights from the live stream and edit them down to just that one or maybe two sections and put them out as little clips or riffs per se. 10, 15 minute or even 5-minute segments that just are right to the point. Maybe I play a couple mixes. Maybe I dial in an amp really quick and compare a few things and give a quick couple thoughts about it. And that's it. And then if you want to watch the whole episode, then you click the link below and it'll take you to that and watch that. So I figured I'd do that for people who don't want to sit through a 2-hour or 1-hour episode. And I totally understand that because there's channels I follow as well. And sometimes it's like, I don't have time for 2 hours of this, but, at least I can give you something that happened in the show that would be worth watching. So you'll be seeing a lot of those because it's a lot easier on me to just download the show, edit it real quick, and upload the portion, and hopefully everybody enjoys that. So you'll be seeing that again. And I spent the last few days doing a lot of production things that you don't see yet, but you will in a minute, that actually were... I had to do a lot of troubleshooting to make this work, but I learned because of Ed Hinchy. He actually sent me a video. I can control my awesome KHE amp switcher with my Stream Deck now, and because the Stream Deck has a multi-action switch on it, I can actually turn cabs on and off. And as you'll see here, when I turn on a cab now, you not only get the cab as far as what I'm playing through, but it shows on the screen, and I also have the mics on there. So the cab is labeled, and I have the mics that are associated with that cab and the type of speaker. So that's cool. And same thing with the amplifiers. Every time I pull up an amp, not only will I switch it with the Stream Deck, but because of the multi-action switch on there, it'll actually have a picture of the or the amp on the other side of the screen, and a picture of the settings that are associated with that amp. So that is super cool. So now my production value went way up, and I'm able to give you guys more information as I do things. And I actually placed the cabs so that if I'm doing dual cabs, both cabs are up next to each other. So you can see which cabs I'm playing through. So now I don't have to do the whole, Super Friends thing. Like, well, with my laser beam, I will... Remember the Super Friends? They always explained everything before they did it. We're just sitting there going, just freaking do it, I mean, we know what a laser beam is. Just, so now I can just pull stuff up and you just watch the screen and everything's right there. I don't have to say anything anymore. It's probably a habit that I got to get out of as far as the Super Friends thing goes, but trust me, I'll get out of that habit because I hate doing that. So anyways, cheers, everybody. I'm just relegated to ultra light beer tonight because I'm trying to lose some weight. And, blood pressure stuff and everything else. So just trying to keep all that stuff lined up. So here's what I have. I have the DAE, well, you saw the thumbnail, right? I got the Duality DX, I have the Plumes, I have the Nobels ODR1 Natural Overdrive. Motor City suggested that, so I figured, well, I'll give that a try. Of course, the Precision Drive, and the Golden Pearl by Friedman, and the Boss Super Overdrive SD1 40-year anniversary or something like that. That's crazy. So I'm going to pull a picture of those up right now. So they're all right here, and you can see what pedal I'm on, when I'm on one. And we're going to start with the Splawn Nitro tonight, which I think is a freaking amazing amp. And we're going to push that with all of these and just kind of see what the difference is. I'll be, just really, transparent and honest with you as far as what I'm experiencing in the room. Now, a little disclaimer, my word on these pedals is just my opinion. I'm not the be-all, end-all, and you guys know that. But I just want to put that out there as a disclaimer, because what works for me or doesn't work for me could be a completely different situation for everybody else out there. It's just my opinion, something to weigh in as you're making suggestions or taking in suggestions on overdrives. Overdrives are amazing pedals. They are my desert island pedal. If I had to pick one pedal that I could use and forsake all others, it would be the overdrive. As much as I like delay and all that other stuff, I would forsake a delay over an overdrive. It would be a very easy decision. Would it haunt me from time to time? Yeah, but I have to have an overdrive pedal for what I do. So anyway, again, cheers. So let me say hello real quick, and then we will get started. And once I get started, I will stick right to it. And I will be uploading portions of this episode throughout the week, too. Like, maybe I'll take the, because I'm doing 2 amps tonight. I'm doing the EVH Stealth and the, the Splawn Nitro. And maybe I'll upload those sections separately. And I'll be pretty concise with those and stick to the point with all that. So that when I do upload it, I don't have to do when I download it, I don't have to do a bunch of editing to it. So, it just keeps it simple for me. Because again, time is of the essence for me. So I'm trying to put out as much content as I can. And then we'll hang afterwards and do some viewer comments, live. I haven't downloaded any, but any live viewer comments, we can interact. And, I'll introduce a couple more segments that we're going to start doing, and, ask you guys for your help on one of those anyways, and I think that'll be a cool segment to do. So and please remind me to talk about that after I'm done doing all this stuff, because I tend to forget things sometimes. Dean Harkness, thanks for the super chat. Thank you so much. He says, Carrie, I hope your little one feels okay. Yep, she's feeling a lot better, and thank you. I'll pass that on to her unless she's here, of course. And Jason Taylor, what's up, buddy? Good to see you here. Paul Smith, Sean Casey, what's going on? JB 50 Watt, Aaron Lucas, what's going on? Eric's, man, I do have my glasses tonight. Time to be a nerd. Here we go. Now I can read stuff. Eric Salinas, what's going on? It's going to be a good one. Good. I'm glad you feel that way. I hope it is good for you. Thank you. CS. Let's talk more rock. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, buddy. That's funny. Oh, man. K-Hall, what's going on, buddy? Aaron Short, what's happening? Johnny Romero, what's going on, buddy? All right, so I'll read these comments later. Some of the comments that I'm missing here. I'm sorry, and again, I'm trying not to ignore anybody. I just want to get straight to the point here, and then I'll definitely hang out with you guys afterwards. If you have any comments that you want to make sure I read, either tag Tone Wars at Tone Wars, or just put 3 question marks before it so I can find it easier, because I don't ever want anybody to feel ignored or looked over. That's not something I want to do. Thanks for the super chat again, Dean. Thank you so much. He says, happy birthday, Carrie. Have fun and get your ass back here soon. She will. She'll be back next Sunday. Thank you so much. Big Mike, what's happening? Gary, Z06. Yo, from Miami. Hey. Good to see you, buddy. And feel free to let me know. Thank you for telling me where you're from. Feel free to let me know where you're from. It's nice to know what our reach is here. So, all right, so without further ado, I'm going to get things started here, and I'm going to mute the room mic and get going. So let me play a couple riffs. The overdrives are all off. I'll just show you what the amp sounds like with them off. I'm going to go through each one and just kind of give you my thoughts, and I'll pick one that I think, for my taste, works the best with the amp, and then I'll do a mix or two, and then we'll move on to the next amp. All right, so 1 second. Still getting used to all this stuff here. All right, so man, I'll tell you, the Splawn is one of those amps that, I've said this before, that a lot of people, depending on the style of music that you play, would be like, I don't need an overdrive. It's tight, it's crunchy, it's gritty, it's got a really nice feel to it, it's pretty responsive. Even the pinch harmonics don't die on it. They're really there. It's juicy. It's just a great amp, and this is the KT88s. Motor City does have these in stock if you want to get one. I'll tell you, man. This is one of those amps that completely took me by surprise, and I loved it. So that's it without the overdrive. So we're going to start on the bottom row here with the Precision Drive, the Friedman, the Super Overdrive, and then the Nobels, or Nobels, or whatever you want to call it, and then the Plumes, and then we'll end with the Duality, and then both modes on that, and I'll just kind of screw around between that, maybe a couple other contenders, and fine-tune some things and see what I think. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to be playing a lot of the same riffs, sorry, but it's good for continuity's sake, to get this figured out. So give me a second here and we'll get going. Still getting used to all this stuff. This is the Precision Drive. I'm very used to it. I love that pedal. It's awesome. And it's super loud in here, so It's understandable that the feedback's going to happen here and there, especially when you got an overdrive on. The thing is, though, something to notice is I have the gate all the way up, so it's as tight as it can get on there, and I'm still getting some feedback. That'll come in handy in a few minutes. In a bigger space, it probably wouldn't be an issue. I mean, the cab's right here. It's like 3 feet behind me, so I get it. And it's loud as hell. It's probably like 80 decibels down here. So, all right, so I'm going to stop talking now. I'm just going to go from one pedal to the next, dial each one in the way I think it should sound, hit a couple switches, turn the knobs, and then after that I'll pick my favorites and shoot it out from there. Here we go. Alright, so far, this is what I'm feeling between the bottom row here. And these are not put in here in any specific order. I just put them where I, just put them in here arbitrarily. So, the precision drive gives it that cut, and it's kind of a genty, it's made by a guy who does gent. So, it's kind of a genty cut. And with the Splawn Nitro, you can get away with a little more of a cut kind of pedal, because the Splawn Nitro is kind of a darker amp. It's a little darker, and God, I love this amp. It's so thick and gritty, and this pedal pairs well with it, the Precision Drive, because it does give it that slight extra aggression, that top end. It's a little sharp, but with this amp, again, you can get away with that, and it's not sharp in a bad way. It's just got that really nice extra edge to it. And then the Golden Pearl, what I noticed with it right away is it thickened. It had this really thick feel to it. And I really enjoyed that a lot. I mean, this amp's thick and grainy as it is, and this just added a little more of that texture to the amplifier without giving it that spike. There was no spike to it on the top end. I'm sure with the tone knob you could get that. You could give it the spike, but I don't see any need to, because I really enjoyed that thick attack on the top end and that gritty thickness, and it was just glorious. The Super Overdrive so far, it made it a little cold. Not bad. It's a great pedal. It's a classic. It's been around for years. And the reason why I'm doing this too is it really depends on the amp and your taste. So all this stuff gets thrown out the window when those two things come in mind. But I'm just giving you my thoughts. The Super Overdrive, amazing pedal. I really like it a lot. I like it more than I thought I would, because I haven't played one of these in, gosh, years. And and Zach Wilde uses it and all that. So it's funny how a lot of these guys don't talk about their pedals. Well, I don't need an overdrive until they do a rig rundown or they want to, endorse one. Then, I use it all the time. Like, well, which one is it? The Super Overdrive SD1, it gave it a hardness. It's like this. It's a little bit cold, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It just cooled it down a little bit, but it was still had a great attack, and it felt great to play. But so far, if you like a gritty thickness, the Golden Pearl would be perfect for you on this amp, or an amp like it. And if you want a little extra attack and a little bit of a bite to it, the Precision Drive's got some really nice sharp teeth. Gives your amp some nice sharp teeth. So let's go over to the top row now, and we'll start with the Nobels ODR1. Okay, so far, woohoo, I don't know if you could hear the difference. Like, that's why I was turning them all on and off, playing one like chord, like the E, and turning them on and off to see how they affected the top end. And the ODR1 so far is the most transparent out of all of these, because when I turned it off and on, I noticed no change in the top end at all. And the reason why I'm pointing this out too is, well, it's a fact. And on YouTube, I don't know if the compression kind of covers that up, but no difference in the top end here. So if you really like the tone of your amp, but again, depends on the amp you're using. Maybe it'll change other amps. It depends on how they all interact differently. But at least with the Splawn Nitro, there was zero change in the top end. So if you really like the tone that you're getting out of the amp, and you kind of want to take that purist approach with your tone, because there's a reason why you picked the amp in the first place, right? You like the tone. The ODR1 by, is it Nobius or Nobels? Yeah, Nobels, or Nobels, whatever. It actually maintains the amp's characteristics and voicing a lot, and it just tightens it up, and it gives it that great feel. But as a listener, I don't know if people even notice that it's on or off. The guitar player knows, because I'm feeling everything, and the amp suddenly is more responsive to my playing. So yeah, so far that's the most transparent out of all these, and a close second is the Friedman. I noticed a slight spike in the upper mids, but it's nothing. It's not the highs. It's just a little bit of a mid or upper mid, slight nudge, where the super overdrive and the precision drive are definitely affecting the top end more. So let's go to the Plumes and see what we got. All right, so Plumes was also pretty transparent, but the thing I noticed with the Plumes, and this is on the settings that I have, so the mode switch is all the way to the left. I know there's some different modes on it, but that's where it's at. I'll switch that around in a second for you. But the thing I noticed between the Plumes and the Nobels, is it Nobels? Whatever, this one. The Nobels had more push and a little more low end, where the Plumes cut a little more low end out. So the Nobels definitely has more low end and more push on the front end. I could feel it. The amp was a little more responsive, and I felt that surge when I turned it on and off more than I did with the Plumes. The Plumes, again, EQ-wise, pretty transparent, less of a surge than the Nobels, whatever. But I still feel great. I feel like the Plumes does a great job. So let me hit that switch on the Plumes and go back and forth and see. There's 3 positions. Let's see if it changes. The thing is with some of these switches on these pedals is they don't do much. It's like, oh, this and this, and I don't know if it's cork sniffery or not, but it just seems like a lot of them don't do a lot. Let's see how subtle or obvious this switch is. 1 second here. Yeah, that switch doesn't, I'm sure it does something, but it's so subtle I can't pick it up, at least with what I'm experiencing with my hands and in the room and with my, in-ears right now with the mics. I'm sure it does something. I heard it's different modes. One's more like a typical TS9 and the other one's like a, modified version of that. I don't know. I haven't had time to read the manual or whatever, but great pedal though. So if you want something a little more subtle, and it's transparent but more subtle as far as the push goes. It doesn't push as hard because some amps don't like to be pushed. Like my Driftwood, you can't push that amp too hard on the front end. It does not like it. It gets all weird. So the Plumes might work really well with the Driftwood because it doesn't push as hard. Where the ODR1 Natural Overdrive was, again, very transparent, but it definitely had more push. You know how you can hear it or feel it, like when you hit a chord and you turn your overdrive on, it's got that gear, that second gear it goes into. Definitely feel that gear slamming pretty hard with the ODR1. All right, so let's go to the Duality and see what we got there. Okay, did you hear that? That rattle? That's why I turned the volume up all the way on the blue channel on this pedal to show you that some amps do not like to be pushed too hard. And you heard that rattle when I hit those strings really hard. I had this clangy sound with the Splawn. So I had to back down the volume on it to just demonstrate that. I think the green mode on this pedal is, I think it's more fitting with most amps, and then you get the amps that like that extra shove. And again, you got the volume here, so you can adjust it. But if you really want to go for it on this pedal, both channels are great. The blue is definitely more modern and it's got more volume to it. But I like the green on this because it definitely has what like a TS9 has, but +1. It's got a little bit more. And I could feel the difference, because I got a TS9 circuit in my Driftwood, and I like the pedal here better than the TS9 circuit in the Driftwood. It's very conservative in the Driftwood, where the pedal that is built into the Driftwood is more conservative as far as the push goes than the Duality. Duality's got a little more, and I'm one of those more guys, so I like that a lot. So something I wanted to show you, the Duality and the Precision Drive both have noise gates. Let's see which one has the better noise gate, okay? Let's do that. Wow, that was amazing. I'd have to give the noise gate to the Duality DX big time, way better. And I have the Horizon Devices Precision Drive noise gate cranked all the way up, so it's about as strong as you're going to get. And as you heard, even though the light came on, which means the gate's on, it's still letting all kinds of stuff through. Where with the Duality, not a peep, you know. And with the Duality as well, you can hook this up because it's got two noise gates on it. If you hook this up for cable method as well as in front of your amp, you got two gates. You got one in front of the amp that's past the overdrive circuit on here, which is the best place for it. So it's behind the overdrive circuit, so it hushes it. And in your amp, it'll shut off any hiss noise that your amp has. I obviously don't have it hooked up that way tonight, but that's a cool feature. So as far as the noise gate battle goes, the Duality won handedly. I mean, it was like not even a contest at all. Much quieter, and in both modes. I showed you the blue and the green mode. The noise gate is much better in there. So that's something to take note of right there. Very, very cool and very definitive victory there. So, I mean, I guess it comes down to taste and the amp. So I would totally go with the Duality in this scenario. I'm picking a couple here, just so I didn't just pick a winner yet, but the Duality is definitely a top contender right now because I like the green mode having a little bit more. It's pretty transparent. It does have a little bit of a slight nudge in the high mids to give you that nice cut that I really like. And in a mix, that would be amazing. It feels great, and that gate, I mean, you can't argue with the gate. It's an amazing gate. They did a great job with the placement, and however they dialed it in, I think it's a very, very good gate on there. And again, you have two, so it's a very, good high dollar pedal. I would say it's probably more versatile than some of the other pedals because you get three modes. You got the blue, green, and red mode. Red would be a mode you'd use for low gain amps, and it would turn them into a fire breathing beast by combining the green and blue channels. And I like the fact that it's pretty transparent, but it's funny how you think a pedal's transparent until you compare it to something that actually is transparent. And then you go back and forth, you're like, wow, there is a little bit of a boost on highs there. But I don't think they designed the pedal to be transparent. Some people want a transparent one. Some people want that extra bite or edge, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, it comes down to what do you look for in a pedal, and there's always that mix thing that you got to keep in mind. And with a darker amp, something with a little bit of a nudge on the higher frequencies or high mids might be a good thing. All right, so I think I like the Duality just as much as the Precision Drive as far as the sound and feel goes, but it's got the gate that's better. So right now, I think that it's kind of beaten the Precision Drive, which is very surprising to me because I have used this pedal for years, and I still love it. I think it's an amazing pedal, and I'll always keep it. But with that gate on here and the fact that it sounds and feels great, gosh, that's awesome. The thing is noise gates are one of those things that you take for granted until you get one, and you're in a room and you're playing your guitar and you're doing all these palm mutes and starts and stops and you got no noise and you're like, this is amazing. How did I ever get by without it? Well, once you have it, you never want to go back. So I think right now it's going to be between the Duality, the Friedman, and the ODR1. I think those are the three contenders right here. So let me shoot out between those three, and then I'll pick a winner and do a mix. And that's tough. That's really, really tough. This ODR1, the Nobels, is really surprising me. It's just so thick and meaty. Some overdrive pedals can really choke your amp out, and it's got this choked kind of half-cocked wah sound sometimes, and it's great because it feels better and it's got that nice cut and everything. But then you're like, after a while, you're like, man, that sound is driving me nuts, And with the ODR1, you're really getting a really nice, like really thick, full, just a hair bit of sludge in the low end, but it's good. It's like, oh, it's just so nasty, But it squeals like a pig when you stop playing. Which, if everybody's got, a noise gate already, then you got a noise gate anyways. Who cares? I got a HELIX. I could put 50 noise gates in the chain if I want to. I don't need to, but I'm just saying. So I could fix it with that. But it's nice to have it with the pedal. The Duality has a little bit of that extra bite, and I even turned the EQ all the way down just to see what it would do, and it actually still had a nice snarl to it. I'll turn it back up in a second, but that gate's really, it's handy. It's really handy, and the Golden Pearl still remains pretty thick as well, so I think Dave really did a great job on that pedal. I haven't played that pedal in a year. It's been a long time. I forgot how good it was, so it's a great pedal. So let me screw around with the EQ knob on the Duality and see how much effect it has. Alright, I'll put it to you this way. If the ODR1 had a noise gate in it, all these pedals would be in trouble tonight. Because, man, there's just something magic about that thickness I'm getting. It's just thick. I feel like I'm playing thicker strings, and like every palm mute has a little more grease on it, a little more juice, and it's just sick. So if you like that, you like to maintain as much low end as you can without having that choked, thinned out sound. The ODR1, man, holy crap, man. Jeez, that thing really has a lot of good stuff going for it. When I saw it, because it looks like one of those old school pedals from the 80s. It's like, remember these? Like the little, thing here? I mean, it's just, so does the boss. See, they're both kind of old school looking. So when I was at the store today, I was looking at that. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to take that home. And they handed it to me, like, no, you want to try that. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, you want to try that. So, again, I'm being very honest here. I love the DAE. I love the Duality. I think it's a great pedal. The thickness I'm getting out of the ODR1 is stupid. It's just really giving me... You ever heard of low aggression? I mean, I've heard of high aggression. It's got a low aggression to it. It's weird. It's like this low, like, gut punch to the tone that's just like, like, yikes. Yeah, that's great. But the Duality, again, is awesome, and the noise gate is definitely a very, very handy thing. So it all depends on what you're looking for. And again, this is just this amp, I think the Duality with the the darker amps is nice because you do get a little bit of a more of a bite to it. But man, let me go back and forth one more time. Sorry, I'm just indecisive here. Man, is it close. So what I did is I switched to the blue mode on the Duality because it does have bass down here, so you can add more bass. And when I did that, it thickened it up, and then because it pushes the amp really hard, I backed down the the volume here, or the amount. And man, it kind of almost, it's still a different gut punch, but it kind of evened things out a little more. Oh God, that's close, man. That is really freaking close. Sonically and feel wise, I'd still have to. God. The fact that the Duality has the gate, it really does help. Now, again, if you already have a noise gate or a HELIX or something like that you can put gates all over the place, it still is a great feature. You can turn it on and off and dial it however you want it. But I'll tell you, it's definitely, it kind of nullifies the gate thing a little bit, but that's a close shootout there. Very close. I think the ODR one still has a slight edge because of the thickness, but it is super close, man. One more time. Sorry, this sucks, but this is what you go through when you go to the store, right? Okay, so I turned the knobs, kicked the tires, and I'm still going to give a slight edge to the ODR1. This guy right here, the old school looking thing here, the Nobels, Nobels, whatever you want to call it. I have never played this pedal before. Again, I overlooked it at the store, and they were like, no, take it. It's really interesting. I guess the original was a lot of money, and someone was telling me it was over $500 or something. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, the original was like a freakish pedal. This one here is 112. So, yeah, freaking amazing. Holy crap. Let me, I just love the thickness. And again, my taste, you know, it all weighs in, and it happens with Splawn Nitro. The next amp, it could be a completely different pedal. So, but man, I'm really surprised. But that said, the Duality, amazing. It put up a really good fight. I still think it's more flexible. I think the ODR1 is probably a really good 1 or 2 trick pony. You know, like if it works with your amp, buy it. You know, but it probably, you know, these settings are pretty standard. You know, I mean, look where the knobs are. I know there's a switch in the battery compartment. I haven't even looked into that does something else too. But whatever it's doing right now, it's completely working for me big time, and I'm really surprised by it. So the top 3 again were the Duality, the Nobels, whatever, ODR1, and the Friedman in this shootout. I just felt like they, did a really good job with this amplifier. And so let me do a crappy mix here. I'm playing like crap lately. Who cares? Let me do a mix with that pedal, the ODR1, and the amp. And here we go. go, man. Yeah, that felt great. Super transparent. That's why I was turning it on and off for you guys so you could hear how transparent it was. Let me do that again. 1 second. Wow, you can't tell when I turn it on. The only thing that will know is your hands. Your hands will know because the amp will respond a little better. So again, like, this is for guys, I think, if you love your tone, if you bought an amp and you're like, oh my God, I've talked to guys like that too, and girls, you know, they're like, oh, but my tone, I don't want to change my tone. That's why I don't like overdrive pedals. Get the ODR1, man. You will not know that it's on or off with your ears, only with your hands. Now, depending on how you set it up, I guess if you crank this knob here in the middle, you know, yeah, it'll probably, you know, do something. But where it's at right now, I can't tell with my ears at all. And I'm in the room, and there's no compression screwing it up. So I literally am enjoying the hell out of this pedal. Now, all of these pedals are amazing. So nobody got blown away tonight, you know. It was a very close, you know, fight between all of these. And again, depending on your taste, you'll like one over the other. So I really think that they did a great job. Again, I'll just summarize with this. If you want that extra bite, and the Horizon Devices is for you. The gate in it is good. I've used it for a long time. I just think the gate in the Duality is better. You do have the attack knob, so you can adjust things if you want and get that attack if you want, the way you want it. So it does really do a great job with that. The Friedman's going to be pretty transparent, but there is a spike. I think somewhere in the mids, I'm feeling or hearing a little bit of a spike. If you want something a little stiffer, then I would say the Boss OD1 would be for you. It definitely felt great to play. It was just a little bit of a stiffer, and like the frequencies that was given me, for lack of a better term, was, I don't know, I don't think cold is a good word. It's just, I don't know, it just had this really like stiff, full-on awesome attack to it. I wouldn't say it's cold, it's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. But you got a good frequency boost there, and again, it depends on the amp. Plumes is more of a it's a good overdrive, very good overdrive, but there's not as much push in this as the ODR1 and the Friedman. I didn't notice that surge as much. It was very, very subtle. And then the Duality has the best gate, and it has a gate, which none of them have except for the Precision Drive, and it's very flexible because you got 3 modes, and it sounds amazing. So if you want that little extra edge, kind of like the Precision Drive has, and you're trying to decide between the Precision Drive and the Duality right now, the gate's better, and I think it's a little more flexible with the 3 modes. 2 of the modes most people will use. The red one, depending on if you have a high or low gain amp, you might not use, or you will. So that's kind of the rundown of them for this particular amp. It was very close between the Duality and the ODR1, though. Very, very freaking close. So, gosh, what a great little shootout that was. Let me read your comments, and then I'll go to the next amp, and then we'll do the same thing. Let me see here. Christopher, thanks for the super chat, man. Appreciate that. He says, respect to our Shredmaster Tone Lord. You are too kind, sir. You are too kind. Thank you. He said, up here rocking the working hands tan lines. I have the same gloves after riding in the sun for a weekend. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Look at my tan lines. And I got one on my forehead, too, from wearing my hat. So it looks like I got spray tan, but that's not the case. That's hilarious. But, yeah, I'm definitely working my butt off lately. Jeff Cornell, what's up, buddy? Good to see you here. Jeff Cornell's asking if I tried the JHS Bonsai. No, but I want to. I ordered the Mud Killer, Chris, by the way. Chris keeps bugging me about the Mud Killer. It should be here this week, and I will definitely do a video on that. I heard that's a really good pedal as well. Daniel Henry, what's up? He says, can any of them tighten up your sound without adding mids or changing your sound? yeah, so I'm going back and reading comments, so I'll answer for you. The Nobels or Nobels or whatever you want to call it. This one right here, super transparent. I mean, this is the most transparent pedal here, for sure. I can't even tell when it's on sonically, but my hands again I can. So if you're looking for that, see, this is what I'm talking about. Daniel Henry's the exact guy, and people like him are the exact people that why I'm bringing this up, because man, you know, when you spend like, look at that diesel, you know, $4,200 amp, you buy it because you love how it sounds, and then you got to, you know, hit it with a pedal, and you're like, oh, there goes my tone. Well, get that. That'll take care of the problem for you. And not to sound like a salesman, I'm really not, but I have to, you know, give Motor City some plug here. They do have them, and there's a link in the description if you want to order one. It's free shipping, and you don't pay any sales tax if you're outside of the state of Michigan. And I'm really not trying to sell you a pedal. I don't care what you buy, as long as you're happy with it. But I'm just saying, if you do like that, they do have them, and I'm telling you, it's a great freaking pedal. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked by it. I didn't think I would like it at all, because it just looks like kind of an old school pedal, and I mean no disrespect by saying that, but it's like, if I saw that on somebody's board, I'm like, oh wow, somebody needs to get a new pedal. Boy, how long have you had that? Since high school? You know? But it really freaking sounds amazing, so who gives a crap, right? So let me see. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody before I go to the next one. JB says, so is the Nobels the most transparent you've tried? Yes. As of tonight, yes, absolutely. Again, if I seem redundant, I'm just going back and reading, you know, some comments. Oh, Jason Taylor, again, good to see you here, buddy. I miss seeing your comments. He says, that amp wall is looking epic. Just recently bought a Rev that was supposed to be delivered yesterday. Ended up being delayed, so I'm bummed. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I'm going to make the amp wall bigger. I have to expand it so I can fit more amps on here, because I'm looking at several amps sitting on the floor over there, and it's like, sucks. They're not even on display, so I got to get more shelves, and it's going to take a lot of work because I got to rewire everything, but I will do that eventually if I can get the room and the time. So yeah, I hope your amp comes soon, dude. Was it delivery delayed because they couldn't get it there, or was or did you get no stock? I'm just curious. I hope you get it soon. I'm telling you, dude, it's a freaking amazing amp, and if you lived close, I'd let you borrow mine. Honestly, I'd let you borrow it until you got yours, because I think you would really enjoy that. Feedback is good, Chris said, as long as it's constructive. I hear that, man. Dean Harkness says, I'm getting ready to buy a new amp, but Jarrod makes it hard to choose which one I really want. I already have a Stealth, so Mesa, Rev, Engel. I just don't know. You know, I think you could pick any one of, like, you get the Savage, I know you'd like it. The Rev, I know you'd like it. What was the other one? JP2C. Man, I still love that amp. So, yeah, any one of those. JP2C is a little more focused than the other two, and it's a little drier. So, just so you know, it's a little drier, a little more focused, but it still sounds... and I don't mean those as a bad thing. I'm just saying some people want an amp that's really a little drier and more focused, and the JP is perfect for you. I mean, if you ever seen Dream Theater live, that's what Petrucci plays through, and I'm telling you, he has the best live tone out of any concert I've ever been to. His tone is just freaking perfect. I love how he sounds live. His leads are so glassy and smooth. They're just beautiful. There's something special about that amp, man. JB says, I have the Buxom Boost, but I thought about getting the Golden Pearl. Yeah, the Golden Pearl's good, dude. It's just another flavor that Friedman offers, and he's big on his mids. Friedman loves mids, so you can tell this is a mid-push kind of pedal. It just really seems like it is. So I bumped this camera earlier. Sorry. Yeah, so that would be a good choice if you like that, you know. Okay. Catch up to you guys. Hopefully I didn't miss any comments. If I did, I apologize. Perrin Davis. Nobels ODR1 with a noise gate in the loop. Yeah, exactly. Like if you have you know, like I got my Helix right over there. I'm not using it tonight because I'm going straight in. But yeah, if you already have noise gates, then the whole noise gate thing is out the window. You know, but it's always nice to have a pedal that has those options because you just never know, right? So it just depends. So Jeff likes the Duality for the win. Dude, it was close. It was super close, man. I might get up tomorrow and like the Duality better. You know how that goes, right? You pick one the next day, you're like, no, actually, it's it's a photo finish between them. It really is. So if you want a little more bite, the Duality, and if you need that gate, the Duality. And I don't think you're missing out on some subtleties. But again, if those subtleties don't work for you, it doesn't matter. You know, JB says, is it Nobels available? Yes. Yeah, it is. And I'm sorry if I'm reading old comments, but I want to make sure I don't ignore anybody. But yeah, it's available at Motor City. They do have them in stock. And it's a shockingly good pedal. And in fact, Jeff, if you don't mind me saying so, instead of buying the Golden Pearl, because you already have a Buxom Boost from Friedman, why not get something different? I would say that the Nobels would be the way to go. I honestly think that would be an awesome pedal for you. Yep, it's very unique. Renaissance Man, he says, Tone Wars, I like the Boss SD1. It works great with all my amps. How do you like the Horizon Devices Precision Drive? Thanks for commenting. I've had the Precision Drive for years, and I swear by it. I still think it's amazing. I really do. So it just depends on what I need in a mix. The Precision Drive might give me that extra attack and bite that I need. So I'm going to keep it on my board because it's definitely my go-to. But the ODR1 for the Splawn, for some reason, it gave me that thickness I was looking for, and it worked great. So I'll always love the Precision Drive. Dean Harkness, do they have any Badlanders? I'll definitely buy from them. Oh, thanks for asking. I don't know. I think, yeah, they do. I did see one on the floor, and they might have some in the back room. But you can definitely reach out to them. Go on their website. If it says call for availability, they don't have them. But if it's if it shows a pricing and all that and stuff, most likely they have them. So definitely give them a try. I know they had one on the floor. I think it was a 50 watter, and I had that on the show, and that amp sounded great. So, okay, so Renaissance Man, have you tried the Wizard or Larry Dino amps? Those are supposed to be the baddest yet most expensive high-end rock and metal amps, even more expensive than diesel. Oh boy, I have a Mezzabarba on its way. It should be here within a couple weeks, I think, but I haven't tried Wizard. I talked to my friend Tim Warner about Wizard, and he said they're kind of open. I'm more of a compressed amp guy. I like a compressed amp. I'm not a big fan of the open amps. That's why I have the Splawn Nitro and not the Quick Rod. The Quick Rod is a very open, classic sounding amp, and for those who like them, God bless you. It just doesn't work for me. I like a big wall of bricks coming at me sonically, as opposed to a giant hula hoop. That's how I describe it. An open amp it sounds like a giant hula hoop coming at you. It's big, but there's a lot of holes, a lot of emptiness there because it's not compressed. Where a compressed amp is like a brick wall coming at you. So depending on your taste, you'll like one or the other. Let's see here. Keith Jackson, thanks for what you do, Jarrod. It's a huge help. I think we have very similar ears and tastes. I love it. Oh, thanks, buddy. It's my pleasure, man. Sorry I've been sort of MIA this summer because of work, but I'm back. So it's good to be back, and I want to do some interesting stuff for you guys, and I appreciate you being here, and thank you for being here. I very much appreciate that. Alan Vargas, in your opinion, which pedal is the best for playing solos? I think they all work great for that because the whole chugging thing when you're playing leads is kind of out the window. So they'll all support the solos. With the extra bite on the Precision Drive and the Duality, I think you're going to get that paddling effect with your pick a little more, which is kind of nice. It's very pleasant to hear. But the I think the ODR one. Let me do a sloppy solo riff for you on all three. I'll start with the precision. I'll go to the ODR and then to the duality, and you can hear. Yeah, I'll just do all of them. Screw it, I'll do all of them, and you can hear how the pick hits the strings while I'm playing, and decide for yourself. So 1 second. There. So, whatever one pointed out my sloppy playing the most, that's the one you should get. I thought the pedaling sounded great on the Golden Pearl too. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, they all had slight differences, but I think they all would work for you. You know, if you're mostly a lead player and you're happy with what you have, because like my buddy Steve Shaheen, he plays mostly leads, and so his needs and tastes are completely different than mine. And whatever he's using definitely works for him because he sounds great when he plays. So I totally get where he's coming from. So you're looking for different things. When you play leads, you're not looking for chunkiness. You're looking for something that gives you a nice attack on the strings, clarity, and a lot of great sustain and a little bit of a snarl and some nastiness, so that when you're doing like stuff like I do a lot of whammy bar crap and pinch harmonics and crazy like stuff that I really utilize the gas that these pedals give me. I always say I don't use these pedals, I wield them. And it's fun when you can wield that power and that rage and use it to your advantage. It's definitely the Eddie Van Halen school of thought when it comes to that stuff. So yeah, so I think they all sound really good for that. It really depends on what you're looking for. Scott Fulmer, hey, what's up, buddy? Good to see you here. Looks like you're back from either vacation, traveling, or something. Thanks for coming back, dude. Good to see you. And thanks for the super chat. Very much appreciated. He says, thanks for the shootout. Wasn't sure if I would be able to watch tonight as my daughter got married. Ooh, well, congratulations, Dad. I'm sure you're gonna want to sit down and enjoy a glass of something and just sit back and enjoy your evening. So I'm sure you've had a busy couple weeks. So congratulations, dude. I'm happy for you, and congrats to your daughter and her husband. So that's awesome, man. Good to see you back. Yeah, so JB says after the shootout, I would definitely consider the Nobels. I'm telling you, man, I would say that all of these are great, but if you're looking for something different and something super transparent, that Nobels, man, dude, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Renaissance Man, Tone Wars, you will love the Mezzer-Barba. Oh, sweet, I'm glad. I just bought M0 and it's super awesome, even better than the Uberschall. But I have to warn you, it's an open, not compressed amp. Well, I appreciate that. So I'm getting the Trinity. And when I talked to Pierangelo and JP Cervoni, I said, look, I'm a modern guy. I like a compressed amp, and I want your most compressed, aggressive, ridiculous amp that you have. And they said, okay, then you want the Trinity. So hopefully the Trinity is a more compressed amp. And I know with that feedback feature on there, I guess it helps with that. I don't know. We'll find out, and if it's an open amp and it still sounds great, hey, it's nice to have in the collection. And if I'm going to get an open amp, why not have a Mezzer-Barba as opposed to something, a little more common? Why not have something ridiculous like that? They're Ferraris, is what JP says. So, it was cool talking to JP on the phone, too, because he was, and I don't know if they're still doing stuff every once in a while or not, but he was a lead guitar player in the Babies. Remember Midnight Rendezvous and songs like that? I grew up on that stuff, and actually it was one of the first songs I learned, and I told him that on the phone. It was weird. I'm like, wait a minute, you were in the Babies, right? He's like, yep, that was me. I'm like, holy crap, dude. I learned Midnight Rendezvous. It was one of the first songs I learned, and I thought it was so fun to play. And I used to freaking play that all the time because my neighbors, when I was growing up, he had a band in his pole barn. They used to practice, and they played that song all the time. And I was like, man, that song is so cool. And the guitar player, because I just started playing at the time, actually sat down and taught me how to play the song and said, well, work on that, and I'll show you the next thing when you get that down. So I learned that and Working Man from him, and that was really cool. Yeah, so it was pretty interesting talking to somebody that was one of my very early guitar heroes, and it's funny how the world works, isn't it? Angel, what's up, man? Thank you so much. He says thank you. He says you have one of the best channels. What are your thoughts on digital pedals? Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Like the Line 6 Helix or the Head Rush, or you can't beat the real thing. Yes. It's funny. I think it was Dean Harkness that messaged me earlier and talked about what if he didn't have a Helix and stuff like that. And I've been actually thinking about doing a video on the Helix on whether or not it's still relevant, and discuss like how awesome it is at the same time. And he hit me with that, and I was like, oh, that's a good concept as well. What if there wasn't a Helix? What would you do? Like, how would you do things? And you know what? I want to do a video about that. I thought that was a great idea. And so as far as my thoughts go on the Helix and pedals like it, I think they're amazing. As long as they emulate the pedals that you utilize very well, then I say go for it, because I mean, it's nice to have the analog pedals. I have a bunch of analog pedals that I use with my Helix. It has 4 effects loops on it that I can run those pedals through, and you can run a bunch in front too, depending on how you arrange everything or loop everything. But I will tell you this: the pedals that are in there, for the most part, are very good, and the effects, like the delays, the reverbs, the chorusing, the flanger phasers, and the overdrives. I think that they did a great job on the precision drive in there. I mean, you can't tell the difference. So there's some really good stuff in there, and the noise gates are great. The EQ pedals, I mean, you save a ton of money. Yeah, you buy it for like, I don't know, $1,500 to $1,700 or whatever. But man, if anytime you want to try out a new pedal, you don't have to go to the store and buy it. You can most likely find what you need in the Helix and dial it in quickly and be like yes or no on it, and they usually have several versions of each type of effect in there. So there's a lot of good reasons to buy those products, and it's all consolidated in one thing. So depending, it's funny, there's a lot of people that get into that cork sniffery, and they're like, oh, but you can tell, I have all these buffers, and, you run this cable into that, and, can you hear the difference? Yes, I can hear there's a 3.5 0.6 dB drop when I use a digital over an analog, and it's just, you can't. You can't hear all that stuff. I mean, sometimes you can, but for the most part, it's all hogwash, I mean, I think that a lot of the stuff that they do nowadays with the digital stuff is really great. They still can't emulate amps very good compared to a real amp. Like an amp in a room, you'll never be able to beat that with a digital product. I don't care what the brand is and how much money it costs. I mean, the thunder I'm getting from this cab right now because of the power section in these amplifiers will never be duplicated in a digital product. It just can't. They can't do it. And that's the part where everybody forgets to talk about, is like, what are you going to listen to it through? Some studio monitors? I mean, as good as that is, you can't emulate an amp in the room feel and sound. It's literally like one of those tuned cars, like in Fast and Furious, next to the big Charger that Vin Diesel drove. I mean, just the roar of that engine cannot be duplicated. So that's what I'm talking about. That right there is the Charger, is the 71 Charger with the super charger in it compared to a tuned little ying car. Those might be fast, but that sounds amazing when you hit palm mutes and stuff. It just crushes. So, yeah, but they are great. So if you really want to save money and really keep things convenient, get a HELIX. I'm telling you, they're amazing, and you'll like it. And again, if you want to keep some of your analog pedals, you can totally do that with the HELIX. Let's see here. Dan, where's the Digitech Bad Monkey OD? I didn't see that, but I mean, there's so many. There's like 100. There's hundreds of ODs. But I'll do other shootouts for sure. I got no problem with that. Let's see here. Renaissance Man. Yeah, I love to abuse the whammy bar. So fun. Also pinch harmonics and artificial harmonics to get bell tones. Yeah, dude, it's the best, man. So when you have a good overdrive pedal that responds and helps the amp respond to all that stuff better, it's the way to go. And that's why it always comes down to playing style and all that, but for your needs, when it comes to pedals, because I just need a pedal that will help me do all the stuff that I want to do. It's like the guys that drive the drifter cars, they drift. They need special suspension, tires, brakes, all that stuff, seat belts, gauges, all that stuff, so that they can, drive the car the way they need to, Doesn't mean they're bad drivers, it just means they're demanding drivers. So if you're a demanding player, then you need a pedal that meets those demands, That's what it comes down to. Sven, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you here. Dean says, Tone Wars, I'm flattered, man. As much of a pain as it is kind of hand-picking pedals, but the HELIX and really all their peers are awesome and definitely have their place. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and again, thanks for that idea, Dean. I thought that was a great idea. As soon as I get some extra time, which is coming up soon, I will definitely do an episode like that. All right, so let us commence with the EVH Stealth, and we will do the same freaking thing. So we'll start without the pedal, and I'll start with a precision drive and go make my rounds. Here we go. Okay, so the gate works a little better with the EVH, which is really unusual because that's such a gnarly amp. So what I was doing there is I was adjusting the attack knob, so if I lowered it down one notch, I would give it more bass. So I actually have it in the third position. So position 1 is at the bottom, obviously, right here, and then 2 notches up is position 3, and that's where I keep it usually. But sometimes, depending on the amp, you want a little more low end. With the 50 watts, sometimes they thin out a little bit, so you want to have it just 1 notch up. So position 2, and I was going back and forth between them, and I will demonstrate that now. So I'll go all the way down, and I'll go. So I'll start out position 1, 2, and 3, and show you what those sound like. Boy, if you like that gent stuff and you really want to cut through a mix, position 3 is amazing. Really, really good. You got a lot of texture and top end there, but it's good stuff, you know. So with this amp, I really think this pedal does a really good job. I probably should have aimed my mic better. Sorry. So yeah, I think it sounds really good. And the gate seems to be working better with this amp for some reason. Again, every amp's different. They all act differently, which is cool, you know. All right, so I was going to play some riffs through all 6 of these pedals really quick and kind of narrow it down. You guys definitely say whatever you think on your end. And I will narrow it down to the last couple and then pick one and do a mix. Here we go. Okay, so the gate definitely worked better on the Horizon with the EVH over the Splawn, but the gate on the Duality is still better, as you saw and heard. It just, there was that little after each hit on the Horizon, on the Precision Drive, but on the Duality, quiet as a mouse. And again, I have it all the way up on the Precision Drive. And I barely have it up on the Duality. It's just at 11 o'clock, so it's not all the way up. So that gate's definitely better on the Duality, for sure. Much better gate. So if you like a tight gate, I would go with that one. Man, the ODR1 is definitely, it's just insane. I'm still shocked. It sounded great with it. And with this amp, the Plumes actually had a little more top end. You could hear the sizzle come in as soon as I turned on the pedal, which was interesting. But on the the Nitro wasn't as obvious. That's what I mean. Every amp's different. It's amazing how every amp acts differently with these pedals. So I would say the weakest of the bunch right now, and it doesn't mean that it's not good. I'm just, out of these, there's going to be a ranking. Is the SD1, the Super Overdrive? It's good. It's very tight and all that, but I like a little extra, and it just was a little more choked with this particular amp than the other pedals. I think they all performed really well with this amp. I would go with any of them, but if I had my choice to not pick one, it would be the Boss SD1. Again, great pedal. I just felt like it just didn't have that extra. And see, modern pedals will have more. The modern player plays differently, and a lot of what we do as modern players requires a light touch because you're doing a lot of intricate, quick things, and you need the amp to respond quick and to not have to beat the hell out of your strings to get that response. So the modern pedals are going to give you more push. I feel like the SD1 just didn't give that push that I'm used to getting for the type of playing that I do. So if you're a classic rock guy, SD1 will work fine for you. If you're a modern guy, the SD1 might be a little lacking in some of the touch sensitivity type areas. But let me narrow it down. I'm going to go through both modes on the Duality, the green and the blue, and see what it does. So that's where I'm at now. 1 second. Oh man, I'm not kidding you guys. If I had a direct line to these guys at Nobels, I would be like, if you put a freaking noise gate in your pedal, there's no reason why anybody would ever say no to it. What a stupid good pedal. Holy crap. $112. Like, really? Wow. I mean, it's a really close race between the Precision Drive, the Duality, and the ODR1. The other three, great. I would say that the Precision Drive, the Duality, and the ODR1 are pretty much almost tied at this point. So a second place would be between the Plumes and the Friedman are kind of tied there. And then the Super Overdrive is kind of like, a great pedal. Great pedal if you're a classic rock person. I think you would love it. It's awesome. It's a classic for a reason. But if you're a modern player, Duality, Precision, and ODR1 are amazing. The Plumes also and Friedman are great, but those, I don't know, it's just something magic. So if you want that extra bite, again, the Precision Drive is going to give you that, as well as the attack knob is going to give you that versatility with the low end. I do like that a lot. I love versatile pedals because I have a lot of amps, and a lot of you guys do too, and it's nice to have a one-size-fits-all pedal, right? So until now, the Precision Drive was kind of it for me, but with this Duality coming out, dude, it's kind of a one-size-fits-all pedal as well for the most part. I think it works really well. And the thing is when you try a pedal by itself with a bunch of amplifiers and it's very versatile and works well with them, that's great. But things change when you get other pedals that you try with all your amps, and then you start really seeing the difference. And this ODR1, I'll put it to you this way: if you collect overdrives like a lot of us do, and you don't have this ODR1 in your collection, you're really missing out. There's something really magical about it. And the thing is it's kind of a subtle magical thing because, again, it doesn't change the tone of your amp. And maybe that's the magic thing. It's like as soon as you kick it on, your hands are so happy. You're like, oh, I can play anything now. I got superpowers. But your ears are like, dude, I didn't have to adjust to anything. And when your ears have to adjust to things, sometimes that's an issue because you're like, well, I don't know if I like that. Even if you do like it, you don't know it yet. It's got to grow on you, So with this pedal, your ears are never going to have to adjust, at least with the settings that I have. I have the drive at 1. The spectrum is at top dead center and the levels all the way up. That's it. So pretty normal, And if they had a noise gate in it, I think that this thing would be a very close win over the other pedals here. But that noise gate on the Duality, that's definitely something that I think is a great feature. And again, no disrespect to any of these other pedals. It's kind of like when you watch the Mr. Olympia contest, right? All of them look amazing. Every person on that stage is like, holy crap, they're freakishly huge and in great shape. So how do you say, oh, that guy looks, that guy looks like crap? No, they all look great, and same thing with all the fitness models and stuff. They all look great. So it's like somebody's got to win, though, and there's always an edge that somebody comes with, and it's the same thing with these pedals. And I think the edge that the ODR1 has tonight is the fact that it's very transparent and it feels amazing. And I love the fact that when I turn it on, the amp still has tons of great low end. Really, really good, punchy, full, thick low end with just a drop of sludge in it, and it's just so good. So I think that it's just really killing it tonight. So let me do a round between the Precision Drive, the ODR1, and the Duality. So here's what I'm doing. I keep finding myself dialing in these other pedals to sound like the ODR1. That's what I'm doing. I'm turning knobs on those, but not on this, because I did turn this because I just wanted to see what it did on the Spectrum side. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that pedal's stupid. It's freaking stupid. The other ones, so it depends. Like if you play Gent and you play like a lot of that stuff, because this pedal doesn't give you a lot of top end. I mean, maybe it will if you crank this, but you know how that goes sometimes. The Duality and the Horizon definitely will give you a natural amount of top end. So will the Plumes, actually, with less of a push on the front end of the amp, though. So if you're looking for that little extra top end and you really like a tight gate, dude, the Duality is like money in the bank. Go get it. You know, it's stupid. But if you want something that's a little more natural, maybe that's why they call it the natural overdrive. And it doesn't really change your tone, and if it does, it's subtle. I mean, that's the pedal you want. And if you already have noise gates, then who cares? You know, you already paid for those, and just keep them and use them. But the precision drive, I think, is still very relevant, and like I said, it'll stay on my board. It's nice to have that gate and all the other features that it has. So. And it has been very versatile. Like, I got a ton of amps, and I typically use the precision drive with them. And it's worked very well. So, yeah, that's kind of like my thoughts on this right now. So why don't you guys pick the pedal that you want me to do the mix with, and I'll just kind of go with that, because I'm at a standstill between those three right now. I think they all sound great, and depending on what I'm needing out of the amp, I think all of them would work very well with it. So I'll let you guys pick which pedal, and I'll do a mix with it, and then we can hang out for a bit and call it a night after that. JB says Exotic BB preamp is another. I used to have that. Yep, that was my first overdrive pedal. Actually, was the Exotic. I watched Andy Timmons do a review of it, and I'm like, wow, that sounds amazing, because I had a Mesa Dual Rec Roadster at the time, and that amp, as everybody knows, is pretty flubby and unresponsive. And I was like, man, I can't get this thing to work for me. And you know, so let me give you a little story about that. So then I went to the store, I brought my amp in with me, and I tried like 15 overdrives. I tried, like, Zach Wild had one out at the time, and a bunch of other pedals that I tried at the time. This is probably 10 years ago, and all of them changed my tone so much. I just was like, I can't get these. I don't even recognize my amp anymore. So I was one of those guys. This whole thing is reminding me of that. So I was like, man, and then I saw that video of Andy Timmons, and I noticed it didn't really do much to the amp. It just made it kind of respond better. And I was like, let me just go in the store. I'll try that one out. So I went in there, tried that, and put it up against some other pedals, and that was it. I was like, there it is. And I used that BB pedal for years. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And it kept the tone of my amp the way I wanted it, but it just made it a little angrier and a lot more responsive. So, excuse me, yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because you are right. That's a great pedal. It's that little orange one with the 4 knobs on it. I remember that. Dean, did the precision drive just get dethroned? Well, I mean, I don't know, because I would still keep this pedal because there's a lot of great stuff that it does, and depending on the mix that I'm doing or the recording that I'm doing, that little bite that it gives you does make a difference. But yeah, I mean the Overdrive, the ODR1, man, it's one of those things where I use food analogies all the time. You go to your favorite Thai food restaurant or Indian food restaurant or whatever, there's always like a handful of dishes that you'll order, and it doesn't matter. It just depends on what am I in the mood for tonight. Butter chicken, chicken tikka masala, malai kofta, I don't know. It just depends, you know. So so this is like butter chicken, chicken tikka masala, and malai kofta. I could go with any one of them, but that is so transparent, and I love the low end, like I was saying earlier, low end aggression. It's got this weird low end, and I mean that in a good way, low end aggression. It's like this, it's got this nice push with somewhere in the low to maybe low mids that it's subtle, but it's just got this nice gritty snarl to it, and it's really, it feels amazing to play. I feel like I'm king of the world when I play typically in Overdrive on any amp, but this one, there's just something about the crown you get to wear that's a little shinier when you're the king of the world. So I don't know. Like I said, tomorrow I could wake up and depending on what I need, the Duality or the Horizon could do it for me. But so far, those are the top three on both amps. You know. Oh, JB says, what about the boost on your Majesty? Isn't that a transparent boost? You know what? Great question. So the Majesty has a 20 dB boost on it, okay? And let me demonstrate that. Let me put it up against one of these pedals. So I'm going to take the top three, which is the Horizon, the Duality, and the ODR1, and I'm going to play something with the boost on my Majesty, and then I'm going to turn the boost off and play each one of these pedals, and you'll see the difference, and then I'll explain what I'm experiencing in the room afterwards. Great question, Jeffrey. Okay, so with the boost on the guitar, I think it's probably better for solos, like if you wanted to ring out a note longer, or if you get caught with your pants down, you're up on the catwalk and you're like, oh yeah, my solo's coming up, my pedal's 50 feet away. You tap that and you can get through the solo, and it's got plenty of push for that and sustain and stuff, but it's not really great for rhythms, as you heard, because it's kind of muddy, for rhythms. But for leads, probably be okay, because I've actually gone places with this guitar and didn't have a boost, and I'm like, well, I'll just tap the volume button, which it's a tap thing, and it gives you that 20 dBs of boost. But for rhythms, I was always like, well, it'll get me through, but it doesn't sound ideal. As you heard, it's kind of muddy and too much low end, and it doesn't give you that bite that a lot of these pedals will give. It just kind of gave you a push. Not ideal, but okay. Let me demonstrate that with the lead, real quick, between this and the Precision Drive, just to give you an example too. So we did rhythms. Let's do a lead real quick. okay, there's more pick attack with the pedal than with the boost that's inside the guitar. Again, I think the boost inside the guitar is cool. It depends on what you want, but I would pick the pedal over that because there's more tone shaping that's going on here, where this is just 20 decibels of volume as opposed to all the circuits and tone shaping that's associated with these pedals. So I would pick the pedal 8 days a week. But that was a great question because it allowed me to demonstrate what these pedals do. There's a lot more magic going on than just boosting the amp. There's a lot of tone shaping that's happening in these circuits and these pedals, and it really does work very well. So anyway, yeah, open the battery compartment on the Nobels so we can see the bass cut switch. Yeah, I don't have the screwdriver. I'll have to do that later and mess with it. See. So Gunnerman, I've been thinking about getting the M0. I think the Trinity has the M0 in channel 2, and then channel 3 is the Trinity channel, and then channel 1 is the clean. So if you want the best of both worlds, get the Trinity. I know what your collection's like, Roderick, so I'm sure you've parted with a lot of cash to get that. So I'm pretty sure the extra few bucks on the Trinity would probably be fine with you. But hey, the M0, I've seen a lot of videos about it, and it sounds great in all the videos I saw. So if you want to get that, I'm sure you'd like that too. Let's see here. Dean, Tone Wars, my vote is go with the Underdog, in your opinion. Your least favorite, and see how it would work if you were stuck with it. That's all right. Unless it's the Precision Drive. Paul Smith, what's going on, man? He said, so I'll see the OD1 next time I'm over. Yeah, you probably will, man. I'm sure you probably will. Let's see here. Sean Casey, Duality DX, okay? Majesty boost is really just a volume boost, I guess. Yeah, it's really all it is. It doesn't shape tone. See, that's the thing. A lot of people look at a boost pedal like if there's a lot of the myths about them, like, oh, it's a boost. No, it's a tone shaping tool. And that's one of the reasons why I think boost pedals are so important, because we can all buy the same amp and have the same tone for the most part if we set it up the same way. But these pedals are what put our signature on that tone. It's these pedals that help us shape that tone. So it's not just a boost that I'm looking for. It's a way to shape my tone, or to keep it the way I like it and just give it that extra great feel and sensitivity and response that I'm looking for while keeping my tone. And that also is tone shaping, because it's almost like you can choose to not make a choice. And still you've made a choice. So it still shapes your tone by not shaping it. It's like Bruce Lee always said, the art of fighting without fighting. Somebody said the Duality. Sean Casey said the Duality. Yeah, I think, all right, I can do that. Let me do a mix with the Duality with this guitar, and let's do 3 shots on the chaser again. I don't have a lot to choose from tonight because I need to practice. So here we go. Duality DX green mode. Or no, let's do the blue mode. I think that was better with the amp. Okay, so yeah, it was the blue channel the whole time on the EVH. So I'm used to switching to the red channel for my solos. So I was like the whole time I'm playing, I'm like, man, this feels a little lacking for the leads here. I felt a little weak in some areas as far as sustain, and I felt like I had to, especially with the tapping, I had to press a little harder, and all that stuff slows you down a little bit. But when I switched to the ODR1, all that stuff was kind of, you know, made up for a little bit there. So that's why I was doing some riffs back and forth after I was done there. So yeah, I mean, again, both pedals are great. Normally I would switch to the red channel anyways, doing solos, but just something to note, make a note of. It might have been the gate, the way I had the gate set up too. Could have been that, but yeah, I think they're great though. The Duality is a great pedal. These are all great pedals, so it really depends on what you're looking for. And like I said the other night when I had the Duality on here, I said I'm going to keep it, and yeah, I most likely am. I mean, it's a great pedal, and our tastes change from day to day. So, you like that, Chris? The art of fighting without fighting. Bruce Lee was the man. Love that guy. Renaissance Man, hell yeah, love the EBM Ernie Ball BFR Majesties. Amazing tones and features. Yeah, these guitars are stupid. I mean, they're amazing guitars. You know, I love them too, man. That's all I play. Yeah, I literally like a lot of people ask, try this. Why don't you play different guitars? I can't acclimate to guitars very good. Once I get acclimated to a guitar, it's like I'm just. It's like going from a hot tub to a cold pool to me. I just can't deal with it. I got to use the same guitar. I'm just not good enough to do that either. There's a lot of guys that can pick up anything and play the hell out of it. I can't do that, man. I'm just not one of those people. Let's see, Renaissance. I went for a Mesobarba M0. Was $400 cheaper than Trinity and had what I needed. Wanted. Oh, good. Oh, that's good, man. Yeah, that's all that matters. Like, I've seen Rabia do videos with it. Kyle Bull's done some, and yeah, they sound great on their videos. So I'm not surprised, really not surprised. So yeah, so I guess that kind of sums up the whole OD pedal thing. I think tonight, when I compare them to each other, because again, everything sounds great by itself, I'd go with any one of these, but as soon as you put them up against other pedals, you start noticing things, and they're subtle sometimes they're obvious, but I would say that the most surprising pedal of the night is the ODR1 by Nobels. Very surprised I liked it, because again, I looked at it and I'm like, oh, alright, somebody's stuck in the 80s. I don't mean that disrespectful, but you see these kinds of pedal with this thing, and that's the first thing you think, is it just reminds you of all the Ibanez pedals and the Arian pedals, and I think they were called Arion or Area Pro, I don't know, whatever they were. All those pedals from that era, and the Boss pedals, I mean, you got that kind of thing. And it's like, it's cool that they stuck with the design, but at the same time, it's like, most of the pedals nowadays are like this. Like these four, and then you see this, and you just look at it, and you're like, oh, that's outdated. Why would I want to try that? But don't let the package fool you. This is not outdated. This sounds incredible. Really, really cool pedal. So that's the most surprising pedal of the night. Still relevant is the Precision Drive, and the Duality DX is still a very flexible and awesome pedal. Depending on your tastes and your needs, that pedal will definitely should be on your pedal board as well, because I think it gives you that really nice edge that you're looking for, and the gate in it is by far the best gate I've ever heard, or not heard, in an overdrive pedal. And they're built well, and they're priced right, so also very good. And the Plumes, so I think these are all tied-ish. The ODR1, the Duality, and the Precision Drive are kind of on a photo finish tie with maybe the ODR1 sonically and feel-wise, with just a slight edge to tonight. And if it had the noise gate in it that was really good, oh my God, it'd be a tough thing to not give a complete win to. But because of the flexibility of the duality and the noise gate, that's what's keeping it really right on its heels, you know. And then the precision drive also still has a lot of merit. And then the Friedman, if you want a little bit of a mid push that's very pleasing to the ears while retaining some great low end and a great feel, I think that's a good pedal. And the Plumes, if you're looking for something a little more subtle with just a slight nudge to some of the higher frequencies, high mids, I think that's also a great pedal. I didn't really hear a big difference with this switch here. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the amp I used. Maybe in the room instead of the mics I would notice it, but I didn't notice much of a difference here with this setup anyways. And then if you like the classic sound, then I would go with the Super Overdrive SD1. I think that's still a great pedal. For modern players, I would suggest the other ones. But again, everybody's tastes and needs are different. So is their gear. So it just depends. So that's kind of where it's at. And I'll hang out for a few more minutes. I've been on for about 2 hours here, and I'm starving. So, yeah, I'll answer some more questions. I'll be happy to do that. And again, I very much appreciate you guys being here, and for the super chats, questions, comments. I very much appreciate that. It means a lot. And there's great things ahead. So some of the things I want to talk about. So there's great things ahead for the channel. So before I forget, we're actually going to be doing on Sunday nights with Carrie, we're going to be adding some segments. This way we can have still a loose, really happy kind of hang kind of thing. She'll still be singing for you guys from time to time. I'll still be demoing stuff. But we're going to break it down in some segments and keep it kind of loose, but I'll have bumpers for these segments to introduce them, to keep things moving. And we'll cover some topics. And one of the topics we want to do is like industry news. Just like recently, the whole Dean Guitars thing with Dimebag Darrell, without just as an example, So if you guys see, and I believe I got my email in here, I should. Let me see what the description is. Yeah, contact Jarrod here at jarrod@yahoo.com. So if you hear of any topics that you would like us to cover, feel free to drop me an email, and I will put those in a folder, and then I will do some research on those topics, and then on Sunday nights, Carrie and I will introduce that segment, and we will want to hear your thoughts on it. We'll give our thoughts on it as well for what that's worth. And the reason why we're doing this too, as far as giving our thoughts, is a lot of us are busy, right? We don't have time to. That's why we watch the news. We want someone else to do that, so when we can get fed, hopefully, the truth, which nowadays is, I don't want to get into that, but we'll give you the truth. We'll at least give you our opinion on some things, and I'll take the time to do some research and maybe watch some stuff on YouTube or reading or whatever to give my thoughts on it, again, for what that's worth, and Carrie and I can talk about it in front of you guys and have a back and forth and also get your insight on it so we can all learn from each other. So that's definitely one of the things that we want to start doing on Sunday nights as well. I think it's good for the channel, good for us, good for you guys, and we can all stay informed together on some things and have a really good, cordial conversation about some of this stuff. Because I watched some of the channels talk about some of these things, and a lot of guys are just saying a bunch of nothing, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but it's just like, well, dude, why did you even make this video? You said a bunch of nothing. You stayed neutral on everything and didn't even give an opinion, or, it's like weird. It's like, are you just doing this for clicks? It's kind of weird. It's like, if you're going to talk about a subject, then talk about it. Like with the pedals. I told you what I thought. I played them. I kicked the tires. I turned the knobs, hit the switches, and told you what I thought. I didn't sit here and go, oh, they're all great. Thanks for watching. I think that's stupid. Yeah, I kind of said that in a way, but I also gave you my thoughts as far as how I would rank these and stuff like that. And I think that that's okay to do. I think it's okay to rank things. I think it's okay to give your opinion about things as long as you're informed about it. And that's one of the things that we want to do. So again, if you see any subjects out there in the music industry or the gear industry that you want us to talk about, and it's something that we feel we can give a good, researched kind of opinion on, we'll be happy to cover those topics for you. And we'll pick one per week to do. And I just, again, think it'll be fun. So that's one of the things that we're going to do. And again, for everybody that's here that wasn't here earlier, I am going to be doing a thing called TW Riffs, which is basically my nickname for shorter episodes. So just like tonight, I'm going to take the two segments that I did, one with the Splawn and one with the EVH, and I will download this whole live stream, and I'll just cut those up and release them separately from each other, so that people can watch on the rewatch. They can just watch those segments and just have a more condensed, consolidated version of the live stream. And if they want to watch the whole live stream and pick up all the other stuff that we discuss here, that's fine too, because that link will be provided in there. So I just thought it would be nice. It's more content for me, and I do the same thing you guys do. You know, you're flipping through YouTube and you're like, oh, 2 hours? I don't have time for that. And I feel like I'm losing viewership because of that. So I want to cut these down and edit them and put them back up. And the live stream will still be available, but so will the more condensed, consolidated version of this live stream as well will be up there. So, yeah, so two pretty exciting things for the channel. It's more work for me, but it's worth it because I enjoy doing it. So, yeah, I'm going to get off here in about several minutes. So if anybody's got any pertinent questions or anything like that or comments, I'll be happy to interact with you regarding that. So, all right. So, Renaissance Man, Tone Wars. Thanks, Sean Casey. Appreciate that. He says, which ODR is best to get on 2020 model or older one? ODR. I'm sorry. Oh, the ODR one. Yeah. Well, this is the newest. It says new on it. So, I mean, I'm really pleased with this. It just came out. So, not too long ago. I don't know exactly when it came out, but so far I'm very pleased with it. I've heard, like, one of the guys there, Rick, when he was telling me about it, he was like, it was either him or somebody that was there as well. Because I've never heard of this. So they said, oh yeah, the original was like $500 or I'm like, what? $500? And he's like, yeah, dude, if you want the original, it's $500. So this might be the more consolidated version of it, you know, because I know the Klon, that pedal's priceless, you know. Good luck getting one of those. So, Jamie Brown, ODR 1 has a mini pedal if you want the look of the other. Oh, okay. Thanks for saying that, Jamie. I appreciate that. So you could get this kind of look right here, but like a mini. So that's good to know. That's good to know. We can't handle the truth, Chris says. That's funny. Renaissance Man, what is your favorite amp in your collection? Great question. I get that a lot. You know, it all depends on the day, but the Ingle Savage still has a special place in my heart. You know, it's got that really nice saturation that I like. The Splawn was a big shocker. I didn't expect to like that amp because the quick rod did not work for me because it's more open, but the Nitro is very compressed and just, it's just nasty. It's a little darker, but it's got that thick, you know, beefy palm mutes, and the notes are just amazing and gritty. So that one was really a shocker. I would say still the Savage, you know, but at any given day I can come down here and play any one of these and be thrilled that I'm lucky enough to play these. So, yeah, the Savage is amazing. I'll tell you what, though, that Driftwood, oh, is that a sexy beast. That Driftwood is really, it's definitely nipping at the heels of the Savage. I mean, it's just got something special about it. It's so nasty. It's just a nasty, most disrespectful, gnarly freaking amp I've ever heard in my life, and it just really, really does it for me as well. So those two would probably be my top two amplifiers right now because they're so unique and interesting, but all the other ones are pretty much photo finish, you know, behind them, you know. So, and again, like you guys were, a lot of you guys that watched a couple of weeks ago, I was playing the JP, and I was just like, you know, totally digging that amp big time. You know, it was just one of those nights. Yet another food analogy, but you know how you go to a restaurant, you order the same thing that you've already ordered, and it was like, yeah, it was good, but there's nights where you eat it, and you're like, I can eat this forever. I wish I had a hole in my stomach where I could just keep eating. For some reason, it's just really working for me tonight. And that's how some of these amps are, and the JP was like that a couple weeks ago. So, but yeah, I mean, the Savage and the Driftwood are definitely my freaking faves, man. Great amps. Let's see here, Renaissance Man. Sorry, I meant the smaller green one for ODR. Okay, so this one. Yeah, so, yeah, I guess there's a smaller version. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that. Oh, thanks for being here, Sean Casey. Good night, buddy. Thanks again for joining us. Very much appreciate it. Let's see here. What's up, JQ? How you doing, man? He says, just got an EVH 5153 50-watt Stealth, and man, does it rip. Oh, it's a great amp. I would say that the 50-watt Stealth is, I would put that in the no-brainer amp category. Like, why wouldn't you buy that? I mean, for the price, you know, you get a 50-watt amp that sounds freaking amazing, feels great, takes a pedal very well. 3 awesome channels, the clean, the blue, and the red are all very usable. They're more than usable. They're amazing. So the clean channel is not an afterthought like some amps are. It's like, oh, here's your stupid clean channel. It actually sounds really good. It's very pleasant and very nice. The blue channel has just the right amount of gain and fullness and aggression for a great rhythm channel. I even played leads on it tonight, so what does that tell you? And the red channel is just a onslaught of gain and ridiculousness for leads, and it'll do whatever you want. And it has MIDI, so it's like no-brainer, and it looks cool. You can put lights in it and light it up and give it some bling-bling, and it's just a freaking killer amp. For the price, you can't beat it. You really can't. It's a no-brainer amp. So Engel Fireball, Savage, and Powerball, how different? So confusing, Renaissance Man says. Yeah, you know, I would say that as far as I'm concerned, the mothership is the Savage. It just has a richness about it that's really cool, and the top end is more refined and controlled and not so fizzy. Because like the Fireball and Powerball have a different top end. It's more of a squished fizz, if that makes sense, which is fine. Sits good in the mix and all that, but there's definitely a more mature, refined kind of feel and sound that you're going to get out of the Savage. It just has so much great tailoring on the tone and the voicing. There's just nothing to not like about it. It just really does it. It's just rich. It's got a rich, thick, nice, awesome saturation to it. It feels amazing. And Channel 4 is one of the best lead / you can still do rhythms on it, but the leads on it are just so juicy and sweet and rich. And the harmonic response and the fact that it doesn't the leads on it are great because they don't have that top end that rips your head off in a bad way. It doesn't hurt your ears. It's very pleasant and soothing, but also just gnarly, and has a great attack on it. And Channel 2 is like one of the best tight rhythm channels out there with just enough gain. I got the gain all the way up on it, but it's just enough. Just like Channel 2, the blue channel on the EVH Stealth. It's just, you crank it all the way up and it's not too much. It has just enough when you hit it with a pedal. So it's just a great amp. MIDI, I mean, the whole 9 yards, and it just sounds incredible. So, let's see here. Tone Wars, didn't mean to send it. Oh, I'll wait for Carrie. That's all good, dude. Thanks, Dean. Okay. Dean Harkness says, the 50-watt Stealth green is like a gremlin before midnight. Clean and beautiful, but it gets nasty after it kind of wants to kill you. Yeah, if you hit it with a pedal, it can definitely go there. Is it possible to hear the Nobels with the Badlander? If not, that's okay. Do I have my Badlander hooked up? Oh, I do. Yeah, that's what's nice about having the KHE switcher, man. A KHE switcher allows me to do all this stuff. If you guys have a lot of amps, the KHE switcher is the shiznit. It's a great piece of gear to have. I love that thing. Yeah, so let me heat that girl up, and I think I got the effects loop hooked up though. I'm bypassing that tonight. There's the effects loop. Yeah. Yeah, the effects loop's plugged in. See here. Bear with me 1 second. Let me see if I can make this happen for you. I will try. I just gotta reach back here and get those cables. Just gotta find them. Oh, of course, they're way over here. Oh. Oh, I'm a contortionist. Alright, there we go. Let me turn the master volume down. Alright, bear with me 1 second here. I'll switch over to that. Okay, got it on, so there's no pedal in front of it right now, but I'm going to go ahead and engage that now. 1 second. Yeah, it sounds really good with it. It's a little thicker than with the Precision Drive, but if I turn the Precision Drive attack knob down, now let's compare them and see. Yeah, it sounds great with it. A little thicker and a little tighter at the same time. So, yeah, the ODR1, man, I'm telling you, that's the kind of like the surprise of the night, the dark horse tonight. Again, all these pedals are great. Get, you know, Well, I have them. The Super Overdrive, I probably wouldn't get for what I do. I understand why other people like it, just not for me. But any one of these other ones on any given day would work great for me. But that ODR one, dude, wow, that is a very big surprise. But here's the thing. So functionally, if I was to use that, thank God I got a Helix. I can use the gates and that. But if you don't have a noise gate, just keep that in mind. You know, you'll have to get a noise gate with it, as you would with any overdrive. But the Duality has it built in. So if that's something that matters to you, I'm telling you, the Duality is just insane. I think anybody would like that pedal as well, especially with the noise gate. What a great value. But I think you're going to spend around 200-ish for that too. So, yeah, it's all, there's so many variables, you know, so just keep all that in mind. And I will be doing an episode about my Badlander because I bought some 6L6s for it. So I'm going to do a recording with it with the EL34s and see if there's a sonic difference between them so you guys can hear that. And then I'm going to see if there's a difference with the way it feels and responds to my playing as well. So we'll find out. So I'm going to play a bunch of stuff and try to remember, like, okay, and take notes. Like, what does this sound like? What does it feel like to me? And then I'll take the 6L6 version of it down here after I put the tubes in it, not touch the knobs, and see what the difference is. You know, so we'll do that one of these days very soon as well. So, anyways, let's see here. Oh, so Aaron Lucas said the ODR1 is Tim Pierce's overdrive of choice. Ah, it's interesting. Tim Pierce is ridiculous, man. Well, if you listen to music, you've heard Tim Pierce. I mean, that guy's played on everything. So that says a lot. That says a lot. Well, thanks for being here, Paul Smith. Appreciate it, man. JB says, got 6L6 for your Badlander as well. Oh, good, man. That's awesome. I can't wait to see how it sounds. JB says, thanks. Yeah, no problem, dude. It did sound great with the Badlander. It retained, you know, the Badlander is a very trimmed amp. It's very, very nipped and tucked, you know. They pulled the skin on that on the face of that amp back about as far as it could go before it tears, you know. So that's a really, like, boy, they sculpted that thing. And that's got quite a facelift. So hitting it with an overdrive pedal, depending on the pedal, can really thin that amp out and make it sound a little choked if you're not careful. So with the ODR1 being so transparent and allowing that low end to stay there, but still having that really nice, tight, aggressive feel, it's just they did something magical with that pedal. I think that's something you should consider. I really do. Again, depending on the amp, you'll like the pedal more or like something else, but I mean that I think that pedal is going to be on my pedal board. I really do. I think it's amazing. Oh, Eric says, I'm wanting to try 34s in my dual rec. I mean, go for it. I guess they give you a little more of a spike in the mids, and they're a little more aggressive from what I hear. And then the 6L6s are a little bigger sounding. You get a little more low end out of them. And some people are like, oh, it's going to be too tubby for you. I'm like, dude, I have overdrive pedals. I mean, I don't. A tubby amp doesn't scare me. As long as I can hit it with an overdrive, it covers a multitude of sins. So it's a great equalizer. So that's why there's a billion overdrive pedals out there, because everybody wants to shape their tone the way they want and have the front end pushed. Some people need more or less push than others. It all depends. That's why we do these videos, you know. The DNA of amps is so mixed nowadays. Oh, you're right, Jamie. It really is. Everything sounds like a different version of this and that. Like, you know, the Splawn is kind of like a hot-rodded Marshall, you know. And I'm not a big Marshall fan, but for some reason that amp just totally works for me. Now, it depends. Like some of the Marshalls, like the JVMs, I had one on here, and I thought it was really good. But all the open ones, they're kind of like, not for me. Again, I get why people like them. It just doesn't work for me. Anyways, all right. Well, I've been on way longer than I planned, which is fine because I had a great time with you guys tonight. I really appreciated you guys being here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you guys got something out of this. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I thought this was be a kind of an interesting episode. So anybody that's here right now and has missed a lot of this, feel free to do it watch it on the rewatch. But I will be downloading this episode tonight. And throughout the week, I will release portions of this episode. I'll release a portion with EVH and another portion with the Splawn Nitro, and so that you can watch just those sections if you want. And they'll be called TW Riffs, which is my nickname for shorter episodes that are versions of the live stream. So, again, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go get some food because I'm freaking starving right now. Got to get the protein in me now. So, again, thanks so much for being here, guys. God bless you all. Love you guys. And things are going to get back to normal here really soon with my schedule on Wednesdays and Sundays. And, again, I'll be releasing more episodes throughout the week. And feel free to email me. So, some industry news, things you've heard about that you want me to cover, Carrie and I to cover on Sunday nights. And I'll be happy to do the research for you and give you our best opinion on it and get yours as well. So, well, hey, like I always say, every day's a gift. And I mean that. Every day is a freaking gift. And thank God I got this one, and I hope I have many more to come. And I feel the same way for you guys. And thank you so much for spending part of yours with me. I very much appreciate it. I know time's important to all of us, and I'm honored that you spent your time here with me tonight. I very much appreciate it. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here and get some food. God bless you guys. I'll see you all very soon.